Balik na naman po tayo dito sa Ating Katipunan. Pasensya na kayo at baka pati tayo na cyber warfare. Kanina po, pinapag-usapan ko itong Treaty of Westphalia. Ito pong ginamit nila yung mga daluyan ng tubig sa Europa, River Rhine, not as territorial boundaries kasi yung po ang original na ginagawa kaya na nagkakagera, but more as economic corridors. Kung sasabihin, pwedeng dumaloy ang mga vapor doon at benta yung kanilang ano. Tapos magbabayad lang sila ng taripa kung papasok sila sa isang bansa. Yan po ang naging template. Ito pong naging sistema ng maraming territorial disputes sa buong mundo na ginamit itong Treaty of Westphalia as a model for resolving these territorial disputes. All the time, what happens in territorial disputes, no, is an economic agreement that benefits all, no? And by that time, when everybody is trading with each other, you know, if you're transacting and trading with each other, it builds up trust. And that trust is more solid in terms of your closeness than this territorial boundaries. No? And this is what happened in Europe. Yung Treaty of Westphalia, which was based on the principle of the advantage of the other, that everybody out of these 5 countries was asked to make his proposal to the advantage of the other and not to himself, became the basis of the development of what we now know as Europe. Dahil po dito, nagsama-sama na yung ibang mga bansa na ganyan po din po ang mga prinsipyo na dinadaanan nitong mga rivers tsaka common facilities at kanya naging malapit ang mga bansa to each other. And that was the beginning of the concept of Europe. That's why they were known as Europe. No? Hindi pa yung opisyal, pero ngayon lang yung nangyari itong opisyal na one ang Europe. Pero yun po ang pinagkaisahan. At alam nyo, nung nagsama-sama itong mga bansang ito, ano ang nangyari? Sumiklab at gumaling yung tinatawag natin Renaissance. No? Dahil po dito sa nangyaring ito, umunlad lahat ng mga bansa at nagkaroon ng kakayahan ang mga tao na maging creative economically and in the arts, no? And philosophically then. So ito ang pag-uumpisa ng Renaissance period. At kung meron kayong naririnig na yung tinatawag na yung panahon sa Europe na umunlad, ito yun. That laid the basis for the growth. So, balik tayo dito sa China Sea. Wala pong original dito sa sinasabi namin. Sabi lang natin, magbigay tayo ng proposal for the advantage of the other. Ano ba yung advantage na gusto ng kano? O yan, freedom of navigation. No? Maski mga aircraft carrier, daan mo dyan kung gusto mo. Di ba? At ihingin ba natin sa Amerikano yung, bigyan mo din kami ng advantage. Wala na silang kailangan ibigay sa atin kasi nasa atin na yun eh. No? Pag natuto sila dito, maglalagay tayo naman ng crack canal para hindi manatiling problema itong Malacca Straits. Pag may crack canal na, yun din ang advantage ng buong Southeast Asia. Tapos pag merong ganyan na, madali nang makipagnegosyo sa lahat ng ating karatig bayan. At kung gusto din ng Amerikano sumali, di pwede sumali. At pag nagkaroon ng ganitong klaseng economic development, this area, sigurado, mababawasan ang threat ng gera. Pero kailan pa yon? Gawin na natin sa lalong madaling panahon. Baka maunahan tayo ng gera. I just hope that we can do it before wars start, or else it will become useless. The thing is, what is sad is if we know that that has to be done and we don't even try. Pero I am almost sure that all of these presidentiables do not know and do not understand what has to be done. That's really sad. Do you know who would understand this? None other than the KDP candidate for president. None other than General Antonio Parlade, who understands this, has the intellectual capacity to absorb it, and the moral courage to lead and do what is right. He's the only one. But I think because he's the only one, the oligarchs saw to it that COMELEC was not ever going to allow Parlade to run for president. They saw to it that the issues that the media was focusing on was only on BBM's disqualification. In the meantime, the real travesty of justice is they ignored, COMELEC ignored all of the petitions of General Parlade to allow him to run for president under KDP. They ignored it. And yet, to my mind, he's the only real leader that our country needs right now. So we'll see what happens to our country.
Okay.
Okay?
So yeah, we have about 9 minutes left. We will read our text messages coming in again, and hopefully some of them we can react to. We have time.
Sige.
Okay. Wait for Bear. All right. Consuelo Gomez Valdes. I'm watching to learn more. Eva Ozagal. Watching from Isabela Region 2. Ronald Nanoy. Good evening, Sir Butch, Saitas, Mabuhay, and KDP. Watching from Santo Tomas, Batangas. Franz Ayalin. Good evening, Sir Itas, Sir Butch, at lahat ng nakikinig sa KDP. Joe Bederia. Good evening po, Sir Butch, Itas, mabuhay po kayo. Watching from Jeddah. Mary Mueller, masalamat naman, nandiyan kayo at patuloy na bibigyan ng paliwanag sa mga taong sadyang nalilito sa mga demonyo. Good evening po sa lahat, watching from Germany. Cesar Soberan, Geopolitics and International Relations. So much to learn from you, Sir Butch and Sir Ito. Pox Beringel, good evening, Sir Butch, Sir Itos, God bless po. Good evening, mga kapatid, God bless. Annie Perez de Los Santos. Oh, si Annie, kanina nandito sa bahay. Good evening, Sir Butch and Sir Itos. Sweet but psycho, mahalaga kay Putin yung relihiyon. Cathy Cruz, shoutout from Stella Maris Beach Resort in Bagak, Bataan. Pakibati po mga staff sa Stella Maris. LV, Flor, Perlin, Angelo, Argel, Dondon, Elmer, Christian, Utoy, Aldrin, and Cathy Cruz. Janeta.
Mag-ingat kayo dyan.
Jinky Bill, tama po kayo dyan, watching from Germany din po. Napansin ko lang mga kapwa Pilipino natin ay nag-aaway na naman dito sa Facebook dahil sa mga nangyayari sa Russia at Ukraine. Samantalang tayong mismo dito sa Europa ay nag-oobserba at cool lang. Gino de la Concepcion, they installed Poroshenko. Yes.
That's right.
Just spitballing po. Is Putin invading or is he liberating occupied entrenched territory? How many US-funded biolabs in the area? Correct. Those are questions we addressed kanina, Gino. Gloria Berting Bondok, mabuhay ang KDP. Benjamin Gutierrez, ganda gabi Sir Ito, Sir Butch, mabuhay po kayo.
Nagpapabati pala si Fabian Lamok ng Pasig.
Pasig City.
Magandang gabi sa iyo, Fabian Lamok.
Good evening, Fabian. Zenea Arcilia, good evening, Prof. Butch Valdes and Sir Itos. God bless you both. Ira Mesor Anibol Silan, good evening po. Randy Castillo, Diego Garcia Island, Sir Butch.
Yes, thank you.
JP Samson, yes Sir Butch, hindi alam ng taong istorya at ibang international media ay bias. Kaya naniniwala mga walang alam, pati sila umiinit. Tsaka Sir Butch, Jewish pala si President ng Ukraine.
Yes.
Roch Almazor, good evening Sir Butch, was watching from Tanzac, Cavite. Mabuhay ang KDP. Marisa Buya watching from Hong Kong. Gay Hinoo, they could be planning to hack the worldwide financial system. Jinky Bill, sabi po ng isang China expert dito sa Germany nung magkaroon ng Winter Olympics sa China ay may 15 contracts na pinirmahan ang Russia at China pero walang nakakaalam kung ano at mga nilalaman ng mga contracts na ito. Alfredo Oredina, Falkland Islands is waiting to be taken back by Argentina. NATO was organized to suppress Russia. Correct, 1949. Alfredo Villaflor, Cold War, umpisa yan ng Cold War. Alfredo Villaflor watching from Connecticut. It's high time to drain the swamp. I think that's what we're seeing now, Alfredo. NIU, everybody dies even if you're deep state. Blitzwing, good evening Sir Butch Itos. Ginagawa na lang masama si Putin. Pinagmumukhang masama si Putin. Correct. Panic na po yung deep state propaganda machine ng mainstream media. Attorney Bango Oil. Good evening, Prof. Butch and Sir Itos. We look forward to your take on the raging Ukraine-Russia conflict. Kampi din po ako kay Vladimir Putin sa one world government ay kasali yung mga political elite ng Washington. Kahit kasi ex-KGB si Putin ay devout member siya ng Russian Orthodox Catholic at niregaluhan pa niya si Pope John Paul ng copy ng Russian Mother Virgin and Mary and Child. May coverage ang SMNI sa Ukraine hosted by Sasro Gando Sasot. You might find it useful. WION, Fox France, and others are too histrionics and needlessly dramatic. Biased pa. Yung mga na-mention nyo po are all propaganda arms. Okay, so they use them to promote fake news. Yan ang hindi na sila news outlets talaga. Randy Casillas, sir, sa Davos World Economic Forum sa Itos Putin dating KGB. Correct. Ernie Ocampo, good evening KDP. Mabuhay po kayo lalo na sa inyo, Chairman Butch Valdes at sa iyo, Sir Itos Valdes. Mabuhay ulit kayo. Sweet but say, tama lang ang desisyon ni Putin. Yes. Gay Hinoo. War was the business of the U.S. Manufacturing environment sustained their economy. Jinky Bill, itong dating leader at chancellor ng Germany, best friend ni Putin at kinaiinisan ng maraming tao dito at sinasabihan ng bagong health minister ngayon dito sa na diktador daw sila pareho. Ha ha ha. Pero para sa akin, siya ay diktador kasi hanggang ngayon push na push ng bakuna at ayaw mangyari ang Freedom Day sa March 20 at patuloy na nanakot na 10 years po daw itong COVID. Mga sir, what can you say naman po sa sinasabi ng Pope na Vatican na war is the failure of politics? WEF. World Economic Forum po si Klaus Schwab. Right?
Madaling sabihin nyo na siyempre, war is always the failure of politics, hindi po ba? No? Pero the Pope must understand the real powers. Pati palagay ko ang Pope Francis nadadala dito sa mga deep state at nalilito siya at kung sino yung mga tunay na kalaban ng taong bayan, ng taong ang sangkatauhan.
Okay. Mel Elizalde, salamat po sa makabuluhang impormasyon at dapat malaman ng buong mundo. Matt Dusing, breaking, Putin hits US-Ukraine biolabs. Yes, yung link na po yun. Yan, marami siyang link na nilagay. Thank you, Matt. Sige, baba. Clates Osernokovich. Good evening po. Tatakbo po ba kayo, Senador Prof. Bush Valdes? Malaki po rin ang tiwala ko sa inyo.
Salamat po. Pero hindi po tayo tatakbo. Pero pwede kayong umasa na tuloy-tuloy tayo dito.
Na lumalaban.
That ang importante po ay mapaliwanagan ng ating mga tao, ang ating mamamayan hinggil dito sa mga importanteng issues na ito. Hindi naman tayo kailangan maging senador para makatulong sa mamamayang Pilipino.
Okay. Ver de Guzman, salamat KDP sa pagbunyag ng mga masasamang plano ng Deep State, New World Order, World Economic Forum, laban sa mga sovereign nations. Yes, tama yung sinabi mong sovereign nations. Remember po, I just wanted to remind everybody, when President Trump addressed the United Nations and World Economic Forum, sabi po niya that the future does not belong to the globalists but to patriots.
Yeah.
And he wanted each country to be strong, each of them in their own right. Maganda po yun. Alfredo Redina, a bit of Ukrainian history yan. May link siya. Randy Casillo, binanata na naman ni Trump yung mga deep state sa US nung nag-speech siya sa CPAC kanina sa Florida. Right. Matinik talaga si Putin. Inunahan niya ang mga deep state na sakop na nilang Chernobyl ng Russian army. Totally dependent sa Russia and Germany, lalo na sa natural gas. Winter naman ngayon. Correct. Mick Pebs the 13th. Napakatalino ni Putin at hindi madaldal. Ang mga kano, madaldal. Si Pinoy, madaming tangam bobo makakomento na napaka-gago daw ni Putin. Panay-nood lang kasi ng porn. Alam, yung pinuno ng Ukraine, pag nagsalita, parang lutang din. Parang kakambal ni Lenlen. Kung nakinig, dialogo siya kay Putin. Nakipag-dialogo siya kay Putin na maayos sana, di walang ganyan. Kaso puppet siya ng West. Gusto niya din kumita kasi. Kaya nga po, bago nila banatan, sinasabihan muna nila ibaba ang armas. Kung hindi, bubombahin sila ng Russian army. Eusebio Mariano watching. Papa Will Vlog. Good evening, Sir Butch. Mabuhay kayo. Mel Elizalde, saan po patungo ang mundo kung katotohanan ay laging natatakpan ng kasinungalingan? Patnubayan po tayo ng Diyos. Mabuhay po kayo ang tunay ng mata ng katotohanan. Jinky Bill, kaya pinayuhan po ako ng life and health coach ko dito sa Germany na huwag nang manood ng TV, lalo ng mga TV news at mainstream media. Very true po, 70% ng gas oil dito Germany ay dependent nga sa Russia. China is now the number 1 trade partner in Germany, hindi na US po. Ha ha ha. Kaya naman pala.
Ito lang idadagdag ko. Alam mo, Germany, kanya sila ngayon dependent sa Russia sa kanilang gas and oil. Kasi sinarado nila lahat ng kanilang nuclear power plants. No? dahil dito sa mga environmental ek-ek, no?
Mm.
Yan ang nagiging problema ngayon ng mga ibang bansa, no?
Mm.
Sinarado nila ang kanilang mga
Energy. Oil.
nuclear energy, no? Tapos mag-aangkat naman pala sila ng gas and oil sa ibang bansa, no?
Um,
Sayang no? Anyway,
Parang tayo lang. It's 9 o'clock already. So,
Lilipat
yung
na
yung mga cut sa radyo, pwedeng lumipat sa online. Because, di ba, nakakat tayo sa radyo eh. So, we will tuloy lang to tayo sa online. Raj Almazor, kung ikumpara ko ngayon ang President ng Pilipinas kay President Putin, sa aking pananaw ay apari at hulo ang pagitan higit pa. President Putin, to his speech, said, "We don't want to enter into war with Ukraine." He insisted there's no war, but only military exercises. Correct. Freddy Oredina, wife of Klaus Schwab is Rothschild. Hunter Biden with Burisma. Donbass citizens seek help by Putin due to atrocities by Banderas nationalist CIA-funded Ukrainian. Yes, Zelensky is the puppet head installed by the West via rigged election. Kulang lang dyan. Tama. Sino ba yung nagana ng election nila kundi Soros and Smartmatic? Busy bees. Lahat ng sausawan ng mga countries ng mga Amerikano ends up in ruins. RJ Haveliana, mabuhay.
mabuhay, Senator RJ Havellana.
Angelo
Huwag
Solano.
niyong pong kalilimutan, RJ Havellana, KDP senatorial candidate, si RJ Havellana.
Angelo Solano, Magog and Gog is doing it. Year 2022 is for war. Kaya pala naluwag na sa COVID, ibang puppet na naman ang gagamitin ng mga kabao. Rupert Gordillo, so malinaw na si President Putin ay sugo ng Diyos para matigil itong masamang plano ng mga kabal. Freddy Oredina, military operation in Ukraine, a stark reminder of need to create a new security and development architecture.
Tama.
So, ito yung news item niya from the EIR News Network. Before we finally and irrevocably reached one point of no return in mankind's history, the point at which a global thermonuclear war obliterates the human species, we must act swiftly to correct the absolute disaster that the imperial policy of the EU and the United States has created in Ukraine and in relation to Russia and China. And we must equally, especially, eliminate the roots of this civilizational crisis before the point of no return is reached. So wrote Helga Zepp-LaRouche in March 8, 2014. 8 years later, her analysis is absolutely spot on. MDT is not ratified by USA Congress. Mutual Defense Treaty, only an executive agreement.
That's right.
Correct.
That's why we should review that Mutual Defense Treaty, no?
EDCA.
Kasi kung treaty yan, dapat ratified ng Congress nila, hindi lang tayo.
Okay.
Pero itong mga matagal na tayong linoloko, no? Maski na dito sa EDCA, no? Hindi, ang pumirma diyan, tayo lang, tsaka yung isang general nila. Pero hindi pumirma ang presidente ng Amerika. Napaka-engot talaga natin.
Jerry Chua, mabuti na lang ka, Butch and Itos, andiyan kayang papaliwanag. Gago na lang mga hindi naniniwala o basta magkapera pang sandali. Wala na pakialam mga tao. Hindi na nag-iisip long-term effect. Anak ni Biden, malaking kinita sa Ukraine, sa gas. Yes. Lori Mamawag, kung war kasi baka nasira ang both countries. Our memories, may similarities yung sinasabi ni Sir na sinabi ni BBM sa SMNI debate. Felix Abila, good evening Sir Butch and Sir Itos. Roderick Parcon, yung panay-panay ngaw-ngaw at matalino sila pala ang masama kagaya ng US. Kaya itong Russia minamasama nila. Pero yung pala ang matino, hindi nila kayang diktahan sa mga kalokohan nila. Maximo Comia, ang India po ba ay nilalabanan din ang deep state?
Nakakasiguro kung India hindi papasa ilalim ng deep state, no? Kanya, kasi, that is the biggest democracy in the world, no? Ang China, if you know, it's still a communist state. And even Russia, to some extent. But India is actually considered to be the largest democratic country na meron talaga silang eleksyon, no? At palagay ko hindi sila papayag mapasa ilalim ng deep state. Lalaban din yan. Pagdating ng panahon, kakampi pa rin yan sa China tsaka sa Russia.
Boyet Periabas, good evening mga katipon, nasaan ang human rights at ICC? Bahag din pala sila, buntot nila sa Russia, watching from Subic. Oo nga, tahimik sila eh. Freddie Oredina, the LaRouche Organization editorial, in-depth reading developments. Will West commit suicide and expel Russia from SWIFT?
Ayan.
We commit to ensuring that selected Russian banks are removed from the SWIFT messaging system. The UK, US, UK, France, Germany, Italy, Canada, and the European Commission wrote in a joint statement released Feb 26. Quote, this will ensure that these banks are disconnected from the international financial system and harm their ability to operate globally. This is stopping short of removing Russia from SWIFT altogether, and we will have to see the impact. Removing Russia from SWIFT would be the equivalent of the West demanding of Russia, quote, stop your military operations in Ukraine, or else we'll kill ourselves. Earlier on Feb 26, Ukrainian President Zelensky issued a tweet that Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi had said in a phone call that he now supported throwing Russia out of SWIFT. Germany, the largest European economic partner with Russia, also gave way today as Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock and Economic Minister Robert Habeck issued a statement. Quote, we are currently working on how to limit the collateral damage of decoupling SWIFT in a way that it affects the right people. What we need is a targeted and functional restriction of SWIFT. Ba? Yeah, so...
Sige, basahin mo pa.
If this were to be fully implemented, all trade with Russia would likely stop, including 35 to 40% of Europe's oil and gas, which comes from Russia. Energy prices are already in a hyperinflation spiral due to the printing of trillions of dollars to bail out the Western banks. Together with the insane Green New Deal's elimination of most investments into fossil fuels, Russia is also a major supplier of food, which is also seeing huge inflation. Ending trade with Russia would be a death sentence for the world financial and economic system. While Russia and China, which are fully collaborating in real development and have the support of nearly 150 nations, which have joined the Belt and Road Initiative, would likely be less impacted than Western Europe, of course. If the West chooses war with nuclear powers, the world won't need gas or food. Okay.
Naintindihan niyo po ba yung sinabi doon? Yung SWIFT, SWIFT, is a financial system that was created so that there is yung banking transactions, mga interbank transactions, diyan dumadaan, itong sistemang yan. Ang sabi ng Amerika, tsaka nitong mga UK, tatanggalin daw nila yung mga bangko ng Russia dito sa SWIFT system. Alam niyo po, yung SWIFT system na banking na sistema ng mga transaction ng mga bangko ay hindi ang tatamaan daw diyan ay hindi yung Russia, kasi yung Russia at China meron na silang pag-uusap sa kanilang sistema. Yung sistemang etong currency ng Russia recognized by China, ang currency ng China recognized by Russia. Ngayon, ang SWIFT system, they all operate on the US dollar, no? As an international currency. And the US dollar is actually imploding, no? At nasisira. So sabi niya, kung tatanggalin mo pa itong mga bansang productive at nagpapaandar ng commerce, no? Dahil sa kanilang production sa langis, sa natural gas, tsaka sa wheat and all of that, ang tatamaan ang mismong mga bansang Russia, bansang Amerika. Ang Amerika bumibili ng I think about $400 billion of oil from Russia now. So gusto sabihin hindi sila makakabili. Saan pupunta ngayon yung kanilang tataas ang halaga ng gasolina ng Amerika at puputok ang ekonomiya ng Amerika dahil hindi kakayanin ng mga tao, no? Ito yung mga ganitong klaseng sanctions ang pwedeng sumira sa buong Western world. Now, buti na lang ang sinasabi natin na meron Belt and Road Initiative na inumpisahan ng China, ng Russia at mga iba pang mga bansa. 150 countries are already signed up there. No? Yung Belt and Road Initiative may be the basis of creating a better economic order. Not the economic order that has been set up by the West using the SWIFT system. No? So let's think about that and try to understand it. Alam ko medyo heavy ng konti, pero isipin nyo mabuti yan. Okay. Fernando Rosales, present. I'll go. I was for Parlade president, while Sara Juti as vice president. I was for Parlade for president, while Sara Duterte as for vice president. Jose Palmares, good evening KDP, Sir Itos at Sir Butch. Cecilia Layugan, good evening po Sir Butch, watching from Bright Homes, kay Pombo. Dark Knight, go, 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 Comrade Putin against Deep State, destroy the biolabs in Ukraine, Slava Russia. Rose Rioleda, good evening po mga attorney Valdes, salamat po na natuto mo kami. Listen from radio, mga sirs, mabuhay ang KDP, kampi din ako kay Putin. Bienvenido Junior. Tan, mabuhay Chairman Butch Valdes, mabuhay Itos Valdes, mabuhay General Antonio Parlade, 2022 KDP Presidential Candidate. Lord Chris, I'm with Putin, very good leader. One country versus US, UK, EU, NATO, and UN. Mga diktador, if Satan will fly, end of the world. Radio Redina, there is no IMF World Bank connected central bank in Russia, China, Iran. Christopher Cruz, na biktima ang Russia ng shock therapy during Yeltsin era. Di agad nakita ng Russia ang kalokohan ng oligarch. Okay. Okay, hanggang dyan na lang po tayo. Kung lalabas, ito po ang ating tangalan po ng ating mga katipon dito sa ating katipunan at sa magagaling na staff ng DZXL Radio mo nationwide. Kami po ay pansamantalang nagpapaalam at nagpapasalamat na sinamahan nyo kami ngayon ang ora de peligro ng ating bayan at ng buong mundo. Dito po sa ating katipunan. Hanggang sa linggo pong muli, mga katipon, 7 to 9 p.m. Magandang gabi po sa inyo.